Yo, what's poppin', people? Cobra Star Green back with you another video today. If it's your first time finding our channel or anything like that for your boy, please hit the subscribe button. Also, please like this video. It really does help. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited today. We need to talk about something. We need to talk about my most anticipated project of the year, and we get to do it in a spoilery fashion. Yes, this will be a full-on spoiler review for Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. We'll be doing spoilers. Now, there is a non-spoiler review. Y'all guys definitely can check that out. But I know most of y'all here because y'all want to just talk about the spoilery thing. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to deep dive into all of them. We're really not going to go as deep on the characters because we really went deep on the characters in the main review and the non-spoiler review. So we're going to talk about some other stuff that we couldn't talk about there. But pretty much in this film, man, we got it. Gwen is back. And Gwen gets recruited, I should say, by this new little Spider-Man team, I guess. A bunch of Spider-Men that come together to save the universe. And she's like, well, I know this guy named Miles. You know what I'm saying? I was good friends with him. I used to like him. Shoot, I went across the universe to go get some of him, you know? So they're back. She recruits him. But when she recruits him, stuff starts to go wrong. Now, will Miles be able to save the whole entire universe? Or will it be his fault on why everything is getting destroyed? We'll talk about that today. We'll talk about the ending of the film. We'll talk about the surprise cameos that popped up. We'll get into all that stuff. I don't know until we can really get into that now, because I know that's why y'all are here, man. So we're gonna talk about cameos, animations, all this, but we're gonna talk about the cameos and Easter eggs actually first. I know that's why a lot of people are here, but there's a lot of when you get into this movie and you hit like probably about the second act. So Miles gets recruited to this team, like I just said, and it's a bunch of other Spider-Men that show up. So y'all guys know what happens with that. A bunch of Easter eggs are gonna pop up, and a bunch of characters are gonna pop up that you're gonna be like, oh, I know who that is. 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 And a lot of, like I said, a lot of people pop up. Even villains pop up, but you're like, oh my god, I know who that is. There's a single point where they end up traveling to different dimensions with Spot, you know, and Spot ends up freaking going to the Venom universe. Yeah. Which I was like, okay, that was cool.
With
I was like,
Mrs. Chang.
With Mrs. Chang, yeah. I'm like, that's dope. But also,
he goes to the Lego universe too.
He did, yeah.
Like
There's a Lego Spider-Man, yeah. I forgot all about that. But yeah, he ended up going, like, they do a lot of, if y'all know who we're talking about, Spot. Spot is pretty much like one of the villains of this film. And actually, when you first meet Spot, he's a freaking complete joke. And then as the movie carries along, you start to take him more and more seriously, which I really like how they wrote his character. Because at first I was like, this is going to be the villain of the film? Are you serious? And after a while, I'm like, oh, he a threat. Oh, let me chill out. But yeah, with Spot, with his powers, he can kind of go to different dimensions. So with that, he goes to like the Venom universe. He goes to a Lego universe, and it kind of looks weird when he goes there.
Even as a joke character, though, like there isn't much they could do to fight against him.
No,
you know, like it seemed like, you know, like you could do something to kind of impede him for a little bit, but you know, when you're kicking and spraying all your spider webs, it's mostly going into spots into different areas or something, so kind of difficult to really tackle him as a villain in general.
And really quickly, I did like his backstory though, because how he was go into that. So like pretty much
his backstory is basically from Into the Spiderverse.
Yeah, he was there.
He was with the collider and stuff like that. Apparently, a Spider-Man threw like one of the little I don't know if it was a bagel. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He got hit by a bagel, and the calibrator thing happened by the end of the film, and you know that messed with him and turned him into what he is today.
Spot. And now he's like, well, F you, Miles. It's your goddamn fault, Miles.
Very upset with Miles for that. Yeah.
Right. He was like pretty much like, yo, this is Miles' freaking fault.
Although you could argue you should be more upset with Kingpin, but you know, like
you really gonna get mad at a dude that's like a freaking wall. Yeah, like, nah, I'll take it on the kid. I'll take it on the kid.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I can understand why Miles was mad at who he was mad at. But Spot was mad at who he was mad at. But yeah, they do some really crazy stuff with Spot. Now, like I said, there's a lot of big cameos in this one, a lot of big Easter eggs. Man, I want to talk about one cameo really quickly. And I guess
I liked it and I didn't like it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah. A lot of people kind of know about it, but so they already teased it in the MCU, but now they just full on did it. In this one, they kind of just finished the story. So Donald Glover is back in this one. He's in his jail cell, and he's the Prowler pretty much. So they really completed that story there. It looked weird as an animation style, like going against he went against cartoon characters, and his head just looked too big.
Yeah, he felt
with these other
bigger
characters
than them, and it felt weird to look at. It was weird. Maybe it's like one of those things where you have to get adjusted, or I don't know. Like maybe it's the team tried, and they weren't quite as talented as the people who made Roger Rabbit. Even though you could argue they are way more talented, but at least in the live action, mixing in with animation department, they're not quite there.
It just it was cool to be like, oh my god, like that's a cool cameo.
It's cool, but you're also like
what the heck? It just looks weird. As a whole, it just looks weird.
And then if say Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield say they show up in the next one, is it gonna look right? I don't know. That's the other thing. Like, do I want that now? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know if I need that.
Like, it was cool for him to show up, but it was nice to see. It just kind of looked weird when
he showed up in I'm not sure what universe, but apparently like the anomaly that happened with the collider, or was it No Way Home? I don't know which one it was, because Miguel kind of infers that like he's solving both issues almost of what happened in No Way Home and in the collider situation. Because he was like in Doctor Strange and that kid, and it seemed like he was referring to that as if that's another problem I have to solve that like they're not going to do anything about, because you know they can't, they don't know anything about what's going on, and like he's like mad at them.
Another character, can be quick. It was quick. Like, you probably might miss it if you look down for a second, but Spider-Man from the game showed up, man. Spider-Man for PS5, he was in the movie for a little bit. This
is one of my kind of negatives. Is not that I wanted him to show up, and I wanted Spectacular Spider-Man to show up, and they showed up. Mm-hmm. They had good cameos, fine. But one thing that I really wanted, and maybe this was too big of an expectation in my mind, but I was like, I kind of wanted them to be kind of like two other characters, maybe not as big as the primary cast, but I wanted a little bit more.
Oh, you wanted more from them.
I wanted a little bit more from them because I love their iterations of Spider-Man, and they're so iconic.
Okay, I can defend the movie here because there's a lot. There's already so much going on. There's already a lot of characters they're already juggling with. I can see why they.
It's not that I don't understand. It's just it's my fan service mind. Of
I get that.
I wanted them to have like a cool, prominent, like smaller-ish role, but not like so small that it's basically just a little Easter egg. Mm-hmm. That's why I said earlier in our non-spoiler reviews, I wish there was like not as many army of Spider-Man where it's like pick, but I wanted like 25 plus maybe 30 max of like they can have a little bit more prominence in the role, just a tiny bit more. Like even with Lego Spider-Man, I was like, that's cool.
That was dope.
I wanted a little bit more Lego Spider-Man, not a lot, but like enough to where it feels a little bit more like pig.
That's a nostalgia mind going crazy.
It's like the Spider Pig thing in my head. Like, that would have been cool.
It's because you like not even just you. It's because y'all are like huge comic book fans. So once you see these characters pop up, you're like, I want more. Like, I've read about you guys, so I want to know more about you.
Well, my favorite fan service moment was Spectacular Spider-Man. After binging Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, that was so cool. I was like, he just showed up and he's like talking to the rest of them. But I'll get into it a little bit later. But those things, there's another negative to that I want to add later. We'll get into that a little bit later.
But like he said, Spectacular Spider-Man ended up showing up.
I love Spectacular Spider-Man. Probably
he wasn't even voice acted cool.
Probably top 4, top 5 Spider-Mans for me.
Spectacular?
In terms of like Peter Parker Spider-Mans, if we're just focusing on not Peter B. Parker, just Peter Parker Spider-Mans. Top 5, easy. I think.
He was in the movie. He's in the movie quickly.
Yeah.
Is there any other cameos we're missing before we move on?
Any other cameos? We had Aaron Davis. We had
there's a lot.
We had a T-Rex Spider-Man that was cool.
Oh yeah, T-Rex.
We had a Cat Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
There was just tons of them. Like
it was so many.
It was both a plus and a negative. Where it was like there's too many, and it feels like a pick-me game. Like I have to like really point them out instead of just enjoy them as like actual characters,
right?
So to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, next thing we can talk about is we can talk about some of the characters really quickly. Not like too much of characters,
Yeah.
because we talk about a lot of the characters in the non-spoiler review. So guys, definitely check that out. But I do want to talk about something really quickly, and I really want to talk about the ending of the film, and we can go why we did not agree with the ending of the film at all.
Yeah.
But because I had to hold back in a non-spoiler review, but this one I'm full on going crazy
For sure.
But I do want to talk about Oscar Isaac's character. He played the villain of the film. Now he's a villain in some eyes, but he really isn't a villain if you really think about it. But he plays Spider-Man 2099, and pretty much the reason why you see him in the movie, he's just completely mad the whole movie. He's the only Spider-Man that's mad 90% of the time, and it's because he lost his family, just like everybody other, just like other Spider-Man. But then he tried to like fix it and try to like go into another universe and just swap it out.
Yeah,
and then he ended up ruining that universe too. So you can see like what's going through his mind. He's like, look, I'm really just trying to fix this. And Miles, you fucking it up. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is.
It's a battle of ideologies.
He like this. This is literally him on Miles the whole entire movie. But go ahead.
Well, his background is like, it's so easy to empathize and understand like immediately, where you're like, well, you know, Doctor Strange had said, you know, like these cause like... what are they called?
Inclusions?
I think they call them anomaly, incursions.
Incursions,
like
there it is.
Where dimensions break. I think they have another word for it in this film, but just pretend it's basically destroying your dimension, your universe. Yeah. And so Miguel O'Hara, you know, he looks at the different multiverses when he discovers it, and one of them, like another version of him, dies, and he's just like, okay, I want a family, and I want to pick up where he left off. And he didn't think he was doing any harm or anything. He wasn't aware. And what happened is that world died because of him. Like that little girl died. Because of him. And he's so traumatized. Right. And he's just like, this will happen. And this is, something that I want to stop at all costs. Like even the possibility of it. Like I don't want that. And so when Miles, inadvertently stops a canon event and causes what happens in the India like little dimension, he's very angry and upset with him. And mostly I think mostly him, because he's got a bit of a bias against Miles for whatever.
He's
also upset at Gwen.
All right, let's be real. He little racist to Miles. He a little racist to Miles. He's got a little bit of multiversal racism in terms of you're not. I don't want to be the one to say it, but there's a part towards the end of the film where he looks at Miles and he's like, motherfucker, you do not need to be here. He's very aggressive. Bro, I'm starting to take offense. So I'm like, hold on, Miles, beat his ass. Miles, beat him up. Because I'm like, the way how he said that, his voice, I was like, I'm not digging that one. Because like literally he is like, what did he say exactly? He was like, he's like, your existence is an anomaly. Like every Miles' existence is an anomaly. Or no, but it was something like, it's not supposed to happen basically. Yeah, but he was like, you don't need to be here, pretty much. Like he was like, exists because Peter Parker died. Oh yeah. And like he's like insulted by like most Miles' existence because that's the only reason. Right. And it's like that shouldn't happen, I guess, in his eyes or whatever. I don't know. Like, bro, this dude hates Miles. Yeah, very, very much felt racist. I'm not sure how they were trying to portray that exactly. It just came across so racist. It almost felt like they were trying to portray like how the most negative, toxic elements of Spider-Man comics discourse, where people are like, Miles is not Spider-Man. It almost felt like that, and it was like the commentary on that. But one thing I wanted to address, here's my big criticism of this film, and no, ideology. I'm going to speak on the ideology. The ideology of Miguel is understandable, but objectively, to me speaking, when I think of Spider-Man as a character, most versions, if not all versions, like a large portion, Peter Parker, Miles, Gwen, it doesn't matter. When I think of like what Spider-Man represents, is Spider-Man is supposed to like always try to save everyone. Like it doesn't really matter how big the event. Like what happened in No Way Home, the ideology battle of Doctor Strange and like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is he's like, oh no, you can't kill these villains. It doesn't matter what's at risk. The multiverse, like that's wrong. Like this is wrong. And he tries to save them. So it felt weird to me that like, it's understandable from Miguel's point of view,
because Miguel's so completely different and his background is much more understandable. But it felt weird seeing characters that I love, like Insomniac Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man and every other Spider-Man, like from the comics and stuff like that. Or generally, it felt weird that they agreed with him.
Yeah, they instantly agree with him.
It didn't feel in character for Spider-Man. It felt really weird that they agreed with his ideology, even though it's a strong argument of like, well, Uncle Ben.
Well, I mean, some of them didn't agree with him. Like Peter B. Parker didn't, to an extent, agree with him. Well, what? I mean, like, I guess no, he did kind of agree with him.
I think they did.
Yeah, he did. Mostly. They did.
Because they understand how big of a risk it is.
Yeah. So he was like, well, shit, our people died. Our Uncle Ben died.
And they've had people that died too.
Yeah, so they're like, get over it. Your turn.
But in my mind, it feels like it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
it feels like Spider-Man shouldn't be doing that. No matter how traumatized he is from whatever Uncle Ben, Aunt May, doesn't matter what version. Like, Spider-Man always looks out and tries to save everyone, no matter how big of a risk it is. It's almost like, it felt almost like if you take Captain America, like, Captain America will save everyone no matter the risk, no sacrifices kind of thing. And that could be a flaw of Spider-Man and a very important aspect of his morality. So it felt very weird, and I didn't like that. The more I thought about it, I was like, this feels wrong when I think of like a Spider-Man film. Like, if you take, like, even I watched Spectacular Spider-Man, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think he would agree with you. I don't think he would agree with 2099. I don't buy it. So that bugged me a lot. The more I thought about it, and I was like, oh, man, I wish they could have found something more to some of the Spider-Man like that. That's why one of the reasons I wanted to lessen it to like 30 is like, maybe you can ground me with like a little bit of reasoning from their side of why they would buy into this.
No, yeah, I definitely.
Maybe that's me nitpicking.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because when you meet the whole Spider crew, they're just down with this dude. Like, they're like, bro, whatever you say, bro, goes.
Because in my mind, it's weird to me because it feels like you're saying two things in this film. That Miles is trying to be like Spider-Man and he's trying to fit in, but you're also kind of telling me in a way that Miles is Spider-Man, more Spider-Man than they are. And that feels wrong to me because everyone in there is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then you're also trying to say to me that like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is more Spider-Man than they are. Or like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield are more Spider-Man. I don't think that's the case. I don't know. It just felt like a fundamental lack of maybe because they felt like the risk was too big. But it feels off to me personally.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying it's fair. It's fair criticism of the movie. I think it's very fair.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing ever, but it felt weird.
Yeah, no, it's when you watch it. Yeah, it's like all the Spider-Man are just completely against Miles. Like, and you see it in the trailer. There's parts where there's a whole action sequences where they're chasing Miles down. And I guess you could look at it and be like, would this really go down like that? Like, especially with their characters and how we know them.
I think what would have been better is that if they had that same conversation almost, maybe a little bit, that tiny bit longer, and everyone was in there, and then there was like the main characters that felt a little inner conflict of like, this is weird, like Gwen and Peter B. Parker. And Spider-Punk, I'm sure. But like, I wanted to see that from like other characters in that room, even like the Easter eggs, like the ones who basically don't have a voice in a way. They're like Easter eggs. Yeah. Give them a voice, and maybe like a civil war like happens in there of like, this is wrong. Like, the more we think about it, like, no, we should try to say like, and also,
I mean, okay, I could see it from a certain instant because all these characters, they've already lost their people. Like I said, Peter B. Parker, he already lost his Uncle Ben. You go to these other characters, they've already lost their people. So they're like, they're in their eyes, they're like, it's nothing. Get over it. It's gonna happen regardless. So you might as well just get over it.
It's not that it's nothing. It's just that like they think like this is inevitable because if it doesn't happen, something huge, something really worse in every regard for you and everyone else will happen. And that's an understandable conflict, but it felt like there needed to be a tiny bit more of a conversation on it in terms of morals. And I felt like a civil war should have happened because it felt...
It might happen in the next one. Who knows?
I could see it. I mean, it felt weird to me that everyone was just like, yeah, Miguel's right. Even though, like, arguably No Way Home taught me that, like, you know, to be Spider-Man, like, you can't agree with someone like Doctor Strange in terms of, you know, because, like, that's, to him, that's not right.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely get what you're saying. But we're gonna move. I want to know your guys' comments on that in the comment section down below. Put that.
Yeah.
What was y'all thoughts when y'all see the movie?
Yeah. Please have a. I want to read the comics. I want to read.
Yeah, I want to know what people's thoughts on that are. Cause that's a big talking point, man. That's a big question when it comes to the film.
Yeah, it's a fundamental question, I think.
Yeah. But let's talk about some things, man. Let's get really. We're not gonna go too deep into it. Cause we went deep into it in the non-spoiler review. But the animation in here, just like in the first one, man, it's gorgeous to look at. It's so pretty to look at. It's so beautiful to look at. I mean, your eyes will be glistening throughout the film, just looking at all these bright colors, all these different animation styles blend in with the next. And you gotta give such a big kudos to the animation department on this film. Whatever they got paid, it wasn't enough. Let's just say that.
11 out of 10 animation.
Yeah, but
it's just gorgeous.
Like, if y'all thought the animation in the first one was good, it's even better here, I think, because you're dealing with different animation than this one, because you're different with different dimensions, different comics, and they have to get one to mess with the next. You know what I'm saying? So a very great kudos job to the animation department. Like I said, you guys don't get enough credit. You guys aren't the actors. You know, the actors are gonna get all the credit. People gotta play Miles Morales. He can get the credit. Gwen gonna get the credit.
The directors,
Oscar, directors, they're gonna get the credit.
But the animators,
animators.
I feel like there should be like a big star list of animators, almost, of like, dude, I want to know who like
did this. Who worked on this?
Who's the genius who did this?
It's like when you played Batman and you're like, who the hell designed this goddamn cape? You know what I'm saying? When you Batman Arkham City, those games, like you're like, who worked on this cape? So no, it's amazing here, man.
There's so many people too, so it's like hard to really,
it's a whole department.
It's hard to really be like this person specific,
right?
But yeah.
No, it's a whole department did it, but whatever y'all got paid, it wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from some critics.
Yeah.
Y'all wasn't paid enough. I already know y'all wasn't paid enough. But let's talk about some other things, man. Really quickly, man. The soundtrack in this one, like the soundtrack in the first one, was just so well done to me, and it really did a great job of elevating the film, especially in those emotional moments.
I'm not sure they brought back any of the old soundtrack.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, and I kind of like that, where it's like they don't feel the need.
It just feels like a new movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but the soundtrack here does the exact same thing. It just does a really great job of elevating certain scenes. Like I said, there's certain emotional scenes, just like in the first one, where it's like, remember when Peter Parker had died and they played "Afraid of the Dark" by Ty Dolla $ign. I thought that worked so well. And to the point where after the movie, I had to go look up the song. I love the song so much, and I loved how well it fit with the movie. And it's the same way here. You have those emotional beats, and they have these songs that just fit the mood so perfectly. I think there's one by Sway Lee that just fits the mood so perfectly. And you just gotta get, man, whoever is responsible for the soundtrack, great job. Honestly, great job. Cause I was trying to figure out what the songs were in this movie so I could add them to my playlist. Mm-hmm. But what you think about the score? And the score even really quickly, just the score is just so well done here, man. The score does another great job of elevating the film to another level. You have these moments where something catastrophic happens, something huge happens, and that score just comes in and you feel it more. You just feel it more inside of you, like, oh my god, this is such a big moment right here because of the score. But we'll go ahead and the soundtrack. We'll go ahead.
Like the prologue. Oh yeah, sorry, I was getting too far in. But yeah, no, the soundtrack was amazing for every kind of scene. It felt fitting. Hip hop tracks felt like very, very natural, like in the first one. It didn't feel like your typical movie where if they played something like that, it would feel more forced and like kind of like I'm with the kids and stuff like that. Like, no, it felt very within. I think they had like personal tracks made for the film too as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Really yeah,
you know, the iconic like Spiderverse. Going now. Here's this backstory or like stuff like that was really cool. Like it's just really good. Like exceptional work. Like. Yeah, I couldn't be more happy with it.
Bro, me neither. Now, next thing we'll talk about really quickly, we talked about them a lot in the non-spoiler review, but we're gonna talk about these characters really quickly. So pretty much, this movie kind of starts out being a Gwen movie, pretty much. Like it starts out with her, and she's played by what was it, Haley Stanfield.
Haley Steinfeld.
Steinfeld. God damn it, Steinfeld.
Yeah.
And man, I forgot it was her half the time. She does a phenomenal voice work in this movie. And like I said, I liked how the movie started off with her because this last one was completely Miles' story, and it was Peter B. Parker's story in the last one. This one is like Peter B. Parker's taking a real big backseat to everything because he's a father now. And you get Gwen stepping up, and you get Gwen's backstory now. You get Gwen's family here, why she's doing what she's doing. And I really appreciate that they really spent time on her because like you have all these characters you got to spend time with. And I'm really glad they focused on her because I think that was a big criticism in the first movie that maybe she was kind of overshadowed by everybody else.
Well, she's third most important, but like there's an origin there, and there was like elements of like main character aesthetic, but you definitely could have had more in the first one for sure. And in this one, they delve more into like the origin and how that affects her and her family and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, the palette is gorgeous. Like one of the most beautifully designed worlds.
Oh my god, yeah.
The villain like that showed up, the Vulture, the Renaissance,
the Renaissance
version
the Vulture.
of Vulture was so cool and such a good
Vulture
design
was so
with
weird.
the palette.
Yeah, it was so weird. Who played the Vulture?
I don't know. I gotta look that up later.
Strong ass accent.
But exceptional work. My favorite. Honestly, part of the movie was the prologue. It was so strong, such an emotional story.
You didn't think it was gonna start off that way.
I didn't.
No.
Well, I had an idea, but I was just like, it's super compelling and just gorgeous to look at. And it felt like a mini film. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, this is a perfect mini film. Like, I just loved it. It was so good. And it didn't end in a way that I expected it to, honestly. I kind of did not expect the reveal of her identity to Captain Stacy. And not only that, but for him, at least in that moment, to be like, I need to arrest you.
Yeah, he's like I don't care if you Spider-Girl or not. Get your ass out. You under, bro. He really was like, I do not care if you're Spider-Girl or not. You under arrest, goddammit.
Yeah.
Hand behind your back.
Well, it was a disappointment and a feeling of like betrayal. Almost.
Yes, I can't believe he said you had the right to remain silent. Gwen's like, are you serious? I just told you who I was, and you still. He's like, hand behind your back.
It was so cool how they utilized the problem of like Peter Parker in that world. Of
and
Peter
why he
Parker
doesn't
feeling like I want to be cool like you. I want to have power. And he was in Spectacular Spider-Man. Harry Osborn did this. He drank this. It was this goblin thing. That's why when I nodded to you, I was like, I think it's goblin juice because it was like that same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But then I thought it was probably lizard juice because it could just as easily. It was lizard juice. But they did that in Spectacular Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, they're nodding to like Harry wanting to be like fit in with. It wasn't that he was trying to be like Peter Parker because he didn't know his secret identity. But point is, he knew who Gwen was. He knew Gwen was like powerful and Spider-Gwen, and he wanted to be like her. And it was just a tragic story of like wanting to fit in, and then that going out of control. And I was so sad. It was. An emotional, compelling, gut-wrenching, beautiful story.
Yeah, but next character we're going to talk about really quickly is the main character in this. The reason why everybody's freaking here, that's why everybody showed up. Miles Morales, man. Forgot who the heck is this dude played by? I completely forgot. Sam Moore, I think. Sam Moore, I don't know. But his voice performance is still strong here. It's amazing. I don't think his character was as strong as in the first one, but that's only because like he had a crazy amount of character development in the first one, and you didn't need to really add too much more to what was already there. So
maybe a retreading of certain elements.
Yeah, but I still think voice acting, he did a great job. Miles Morales' animation as a whole, just the whole character, still did a great job. It still did well with fitting well with the character. Mm-hmm. Big kudos to him. I can't wait for the part 2 to come out because we can see, where the story goes with Miles. And like I said, man, amazing what they did with Miles. Really quickly, I do want to talk about like 2 more characters.
Sure, yeah.
Just really quickly. Now, we did talk about And then we'll talk about the ending. I want to talk about the ending too, because we got some things to talk about that with that ending. You have a lot of characters you got to go through, right? There's a lot of them here, but I do really want to talk about one really quickly. But Peter B. Parker, he's back in this film, but he's a father in this one, which I thought was a really cool twist. Cause I'm like, okay, we've never seen Peter Parker be a father before, so I wonder what they do with this. And like, he has a daughter, and she's pretty much going to be a Spider-Man too, or Spider-Woman too.
Well, he got busy almost immediately as soon as he got home. He got busy. Like, it only took because I think this is only like a year or two after.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure.
Shit.
So he got,
as soon as the movie was over, he said, "Hey, Mary Jane."
He got going.
Yeah, literally, instantly. But yeah, I liked him in this role a lot. Now, he's not even second billing. He's probably like sixth billing in this one. Like, he's, like I say, taking a really big back seat in this one. But I like that. Like, he sees all his hard work paying off in the first movie in this one. Like, everything he taught Miles in the first one, Miles is using it in the second one.
The running joke of like, I'm a good mentor.
Yeah, no, and it really showed in this one, especially in the third act where Miles is fighting Spider-Man 2099. You really see it there, and even Peter Parker is like, it's my work right there. He's like, I showed him that. I showed him that. So you guys could possibly be mad that he's not in the movie as much, but you still like appreciate his presence here, and you appreciate what they still did with the character.
He like stopped Spider-Woman from the motorcycle Spider-Woman.
Oh yeah.
And because she was talking shit, and she was like, well, you can't be that good because you're not a good mentor. Yeah. And then like he stops her, and then he's like, I can't be that bad of a mentor. He stopped you. He stopped you.
Literally. And I remember at the end of the movie, he's like. At the end of the movie, he's like, "Wait, Miles does have a plan." You know, I was like, "Yo, this works." Now let's actually go into the ending. Oh, actually, really quick, we missed one more character. Yeah. And really quickly, we're gonna talk about Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk. I think this will be probably one of people's favorites characters in the movie. He does say a lot of one-liners here. I didn't even recognize that it was actually him playing it, but
I knew it was him, but it didn't sound like him.
But you hear the accent, you know. So he's not hiding that accent. He's not doing that Get Out voice.
No, he's doing a British accent.
British accent, yeah, you completely hear it. And
he's funny.
Oh no, he is like, bro. It's the whole movie. He's really much doing one-liners, but they're funny one-liners and they work. So yeah, I think, and the animation on Spider-Punk was really cool. Yeah, like. A lot of time you don't see him with his mask on. You see him with like all of his hair, and like I thought the animation style they did with him, like the different types of styles they did, there was some shots where he was like
shading was really cool.
Yeah, shading. Yeah, it was like he's a little bit darker and some shit. I'm like, yo, this actually really works.
I think one of my favorite quips in the movie is like when they're looking down and they're like, "What's happening there?" He's like, "It's a metaphor for capitalism." They're like, I think it's a little bit much more than that.
Yeah. No, I really.
It was great. Yeah,
I enjoyed what they did with Daniel Kaluuya, aka Spider-Punk, in the film. Now
it sounded like he had fun. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like everybody had fun.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk about the ending of the film and why I'm not a fan of the ending of the film. Okay, so before we get into that, we gotta talk about the ending of the film. So pretty much the ending of this film pretty much is and this is, like I said, completely spoilers, y'all know this. But Miles finds out through Spider-Man 2099 that his father is about to die, and he has to die pretty much. That like it has to happen for it to save the entire universe pretty much. And Miles like, y'all's family can die, but mine's ain't. I'm saving mine. So Miles, and that's why he's running away from all these Spider-Man clothes. So because 2099 is like, okay, like I said, your father has to die for everything else to be smooth. But Miles is like, no. So he tells 2099 tells all other Spider-Man, they're like, yo, get this motherfucker, get him. You know what I'm saying? Let his father die, please. Yeah. And that's where they go from that. Then Miles gets transported into his world, and he thinks that he's back home.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but he realizes, and I thought I realized it too. I
should have picked it up when she said.
I was like, bro, I was like, this don't even look right. The animation don't look the same.
I should have picked it up when she said, like, you got a different haircut.
Yeah,
and
so
I was like, well,
like his mom pops up, and he was like, and she was like, "You have a different haircut." Even a Prowler shows back up, and he's like, "Yo, you look a little different, Miles."
Oh, when she said, "Who's Spider-Man?" And then I
So
I even still thought to myself, "Well, maybe she's just not up to date on what." She doesn't pay attention like that, and like her. Then I was like, "No, that doesn't make sense."
No, it's like the ending. He's like, he pops up, and he's like, "Mom, I'm Spider-Man," and she's like, "Get out of here!" And like
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you're not picking up on that first. And you're like, okay. Then Uncle Aaron shows up. You're like, oh, Uncle Aaron from the last movie. I'm like, yo, he's one of my favorite characters from the last movie. And he shows back up. And you're like, wow, you look a little different. And he was like, but you still coming to do that thing with me.
I think he knew right away.
Yeah.
He had to.
Man, come on. You ain't pulling your braids out that goddamn fast.
Aaron Davis is pretty smart. Like, he's not a dummy.
So he was like, I was like, all right, man, come. He's like, come on to the roof, bro. We gotta get that thing done. And Miles was like, okay. He's like, what are we getting done again? So they go up there to the roof, and like Aaron Davis just like sneak punches him, and then he wakes up later, like in this Uncle Aaron's garage.
Yeah.
And whenever he's in his garage, you see this guy show up in like his figure way in the back, and Miles is like, he's like, you're Prowler. Uncle Aaron is like, I'm not Prowler. And you just see Prowler showing up throughout the back. And I already knew who it was. But look, I'm going to get into it. But you see it, and you see that it's an evil Miles Morales with two braids, pretty much.
Prowler Miles.
Prowler Miles Morales. And Miles is like, well, I ain't got no beef with you, bro. I'm just trying to get back home, pretty much. And
trying to save our dad. He's
he's
like,
like, bro,
dad, actually.
He was like, in this new universe he went to, his dad was gone. His dad was already dead.
Yeah.
So he was like, this evil Prowler, this evil Miles Morales Prowler. He's like, why would I care about that that other universe? He's like, you staying right here. And that's pretty much the big cliffhanger is that he's stuck in this universe and he has to try to get back out.
Meanwhile, Spider-Gwen forms the
team. The team from the last movie.
The original, team from the first one.
From the first movie, yeah.
Do they have enough spider wrists for that though? The little wrist things? Did she steal those? I guess.
I don't.
That's my question. I guess by that point.
I have no idea, but I don't. Okay, look, I'm gonna tell you guys why I'm not a big fan of the ending. I really thought they had I knew this movie was gonna end on a cliffhanger, and I was like, the spot they kind of could have stopped it at would have been fine. So early on, it's probably about an hour and 45 into the movie, hour 50 maybe, that. Spider-Man 2099 is telling Miles about you have to let your Uncle Aaron die. And I thought like that would have been a perfect spot to end this movie with like I said, Spider-Man 2099 saying Miles, like, look, you have to let him die. I thought that would have been a perfect way to end this movie, but they don't. They keep it going. Like I said, they keep it going until where you find out about the evil Prowler and stuff. And I'm like, man, I have seen this play so many times. You guys don't know. Maybe because I'm a critic and I go see everything. Yeah. But I have seen this same play so many times. And I'm like, the writers, y'all have to be better than this. Like, there's no way we're still resorting to this. We're still resorting to evil sides, evil twins or whatever. Evil versions of yourself. Like, whenever he was the evil Prowler, I knew that was him, and I was like, why are we going down this same route again? I was like, now it looks cool. I'm like, okay, you're gonna be fighting yourself, but I've just seen it done so many times.
It's not that I don't trust the writers to do a good job with that narrative for the next movie, especially.
I think they will do a good job with it.
But when it got to that point, I was just like, oh, I don't really care. I don't know why I don't care. I just don't. It felt weird stopping there.
I really thought I thought they had it perfect. With the. I think they should have ended it with him being like, "Damn, can I save my father? I had to go save my father." I thought they should have ended it there, but it just kept it going.
My problem is mostly. I think even where you said like it should have stopped after he said, "Well, you have to let your dad die." I don't even think that's a good stopping point. I don't know what it would have been a good stopping point. It felt like the way this was written is, well, to be fair, they did announce it as a part one.
Part one, yeah.
Part two,
so we already knew before going in, yeah.
But my problem is, like I said in my non-spoiler review, is that Infinity War or Empire Strikes Back.
Go to Infinity War, because that was a great
Infinity
point.
War is a perfect example where it's like, it finishes, it wraps up that story, And like, if you really wanted to, like, you could stop the MCU right there and be like, well, that was a depressing ending, but it's an ending that I want. And you know, if you didn't like the rest of the MCU, like, you can just pretend that was the ending, and you're like, that's a really cool stopping point. Because the next one, the part 2 of, you know, this, I guess, Infinity Saga, is not until 5 years later. So you could just easily just be like, it's its own collective story. This happened in what, 2 days?
Yeah.
Like the entire story, something like that. And, you know, you got like your character arcs, most of your character arcs like wrapped up, or like not wrapped up, but you know, you got the general gist of what's going on. And Thanos is a very compelling protagonist, and yada, yada, yada. And it wraps up where it's like Thanos wins. And
yeah. So it's a good ending point, pretty much.
Yeah. But this movie felt like, it felt like the longest first 2 acts. That's what I'll say. Not third act. It felt like there was no third act. That's what it felt like. I was like, this feels like one big long first act, then one big long second act. But where's that third act? Like,
yeah, that's it.
Where's that
we gotta
ending?
We gotta wait a year for that. We gotta wait a year for that one.
And then I was just like so kind of bummed. I was just like, it doesn't feel like Into the Spider-Verse feels complete, like, as a movie. You could watch that, and you know, if you really wanted to, if you really somehow were just not interested in watching the other 2 films, you just be like, it ends there. That's
right.
it. Like, I don't need any more. I didn't get that from this.
No, I think like
you need to watch this next one.
Yeah, I know. It's like you're forced to really watch the next one.
It's not like you want to watch it. You need to watch it to, you know, feel like this was worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, because now I guess
narrative.
Since Marvel did it with Infinity War and Endgame, now other movie franchises feel like they gotta do it too. Doom did it. Doom did part 1, part 2. And now you got Spider-Verse part 1, part 2. I'm not mad. I'm not completely mad that they're setting it up in part 1 and part 2. I'm cool with that. But it's just like, I feel like they need to do a better job at writing those cliffhangers.
It's funny because I know they can write better than this.
Yes.
I know it.
Look at the first movie.
I know.
Look at the first movie.
I know it. They can write better than this.
First movie's
the
first movie's a freaking masterpiece, literally.
And so, like, yeah, I sound like overly negative, but like that's genuinely how I feel when I watched it. I was just like, man, like there's those big moments, those big critiques I have, the more I think about them, and then this that really stands out as this doesn't feel whole.
It doesn't. Yeah, it literally forced you to watch the second one. But I thought you brought up a great point when you brought up Infinity War, because I was like, yeah, you could really watch Infinity War on its own.
Yeah.
You don't even gotta watch Endgame like that.
You really don't.
You don't have to watch Endgame. If you really
didn't want to, you don't.
Yeah, but
to feel like a completed narrative,
right?
Least, in terms of, yeah.
I know we sound down on the movie, but this the first movie to me, and we're gonna wrap it up. We're at 40 minutes, so we're gonna wrap this up. But
sure.
The first movie to me was a complete masterpiece. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie to this day of all time. Still, I still go back every once in a while and still rewatch watch the movie, and it still hits me with those emotional beats. This one still hit me with those emotional beats, but not to the same extent as the first one. I had friends I was talking to before I saw this movie, and they were telling me that this one was better than the first one. I completely do not agree with that. The first one,
the exact opposite.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I feel the exact
opposite. That's what they said. Yeah, no. That's what they were telling me.
To them, yeah.
Yeah, no. I love this movie. I don't think we not liking this movie. We love this movie.
My experience. I'm going to watch it in IMAX.
Oh yeah, me
sure.
too. Yeah, me too. I'm definitely going to see this again, because we saw it on the regular screen. We didn't see it on IMAX.
Yeah.
But I don't want y'all to take it like, oh y'all hating on the movie. No, it's just we wanted it to be as good as the first one. I think that's what it was.
I think people should think about their films a lot more deeper too, even if they're masterpieces such as Into the Spider-Verse or this, even like you could call it a masterpiece in execution for sure, in terms of visual styles and amazing performance, voice work, and tons of other things that they did like almost flawlessly. But I do think we should like critique our writers a lot more.
Right.
Even if our writers are mostly good.
No,
when there's stuff that sticks out, like it's fair to be like, hey, I think you could have wrapped this up way better.
Right. No, like I said, the takeaway is we still love the movie.
Yeah.
It just, in our eyes, just wasn't as good as the first one. I think that'll be a fair criticism. Now I know you got your critics when they first got out the movie. Oh my God, greatest movie of all time. And I had to take a step back, and I had to be real with myself, be honest with myself. And I'm
Almost
like, it's
feels like
not.
we have to be the people that are like, whoa.
Yeah, I know why we got to be the people.
Whoa. You need to chill for a minute.
But let's go ahead and give our rating of the film.
Yeah.
Look, I still generally love this movie as a whole, man. The amazing cameos that you guys will enjoy, especially first weekend. Amazing Easter eggs. The animation, man. Animation, the part like we said earlier, don't get enough credit. It is phenomenal to look at. It's just beautiful to look at on a theater screen, whatever screen you're looking at. I'm watching it on this trailer, and I'm just seeing how good it looks here.
Yeah.
Especially when the different animation styles clash with one another. It just looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful to look at.
It looks exceptional.
Yes, the soundtrack, the score, just so well done here. Man, like the characters here. Miles was great. Gwen was better written in this one. Spider-Man 2099 was amazing. I feel like Spot. At first, I think
he's a better villain than Kingpin for me, personally.
I don't.
In terms of,
I still got Kingpin a little bit ahead.
Fair enough. In terms of threat level, I think.
Threat level.
I think
yeah.
I empathized with him more too because Kingpin's backstory you can empathize, but he's still like he's more of the tragic accident, and I empathize with that more personally.
I'm still scared of you. I seen Kingpin kill Spider-Man.
He's still a great villain.
Yeah. But yeah, Corey just texted me. But yeah, I all around generally enjoyed this movie. It's just there were certain aspects like the first one's a masterpiece in my eyes. I see nothing wrong with that first one. But the second one, it had its problems, and we had to address those. Mm-hmm. So I cannot give this movie a 10 out of 10, which I really thought I was gonna do it. I thought I was gonna be like, this is gonna be my second 10 out of 10 of the year, but it's not. I'm gonna have to give it why am I getting down? I'm literally giving this movie a 9 out of 10. What the hell am I doing?
I have to be the bummer guy who's like, I have to be like sound like a contrarian, even though this is my actual thoughts. Yeah. I liked Volume 3 more. I just did.
As a story, especially. Guardians.
As a story, especially, I liked it more. Personally,
I ain't gonna lie, Guardians, I was crying, bro. And I was crying for some goddamn animals, bro, which is weird. James Gunn, you a weirdie for that. I don't know how you got me crying for some goddamn animals that don't exist.
And I think some people would hear me say that and be like, "You're being disrespectful of this movie right now." And
no.
I don't think I am. I think they're both very solid films, and they're almost neck and neck. This easily could have been better than Volume 3, if I'm being honest. You just needed to write up a better ending, write up a little bit better motivations for some of the characters or inner workings. I don't know, just small stuff like that, I think.
I'm trying to think. Which one I rewatched first, Guardians or this one? I think I had more fun with Spiderverse. I think
that's an easy call. You can have more fun with this.
I think I was having, because like I said, freaking Guardians, I was crying, bro. Yeah. Fucking Rocket, that goddamn backstory, I was going through it, bro. So I think I would rather watch this one again.
Yeah. That's an easy call to make, I think. But if I when I really think about it in the long run, especially if I'm thinking this way now, by the time a year later, I'm still gonna probably have that same opinion of I thought this was the more executed story, so to speak. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm giving a 9 out of 10. You go and give your rating.
Like I did with non-spoiler, is subjective feeling is 9.5. That objective feeling is more of a 9 because those critiques feel very big in terms of writing, but and in so many different ways, this is a 10 out of 10 for animation and tons of other ways they executed it. Yeah, it's mostly writing. I think I have a minor problem with. Probably bigger problem in terms of ending, especially. But yeah, that was our review, man. You guys definitely, if you guys stayed to this 50 minutes, so. And I'm not editing nothing. I just want all this in there because I feel like this is nothing but great content. Yeah. But hey, if it's your first time finding our channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you guys seen the video, please put your thoughts on it down below. Like I said, first time, hit the subscribe button. Also, the video really does help. Hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Get us out there more. We appreciate you guys. Put your thoughts on the Spider-Man movie in the comment section down below. I'm definitely reading all of it. I'm pretty sure he's reading all of them. And hey, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.